African perspective. Time to stay informed, inspired, and connected to the ideas driving Africa forward. The Upside on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
It's gone 7 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Good afternoon and welcome to The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective, with me, Tebohole Khuleni, and welcoming her back, my co-pilot, Matsheko Mosito. You've got that holiday glow. You look well
Never
rested.
that.
Welcome back.
Oh my goodness, I feel like I look so tired.
No, you
Because
don't.
my body is actually just confused. It's like, were you on holiday or were you working? What are you doing?
But it was a bit of both, wasn't it?
It was actually a bit of both. And also, I was away on my birthday week. Because
Yes.
last week, Tuesday, was my birthday.
Yes.
And lots of beautiful, unexpected things happened. But isn't it wonderful that we are back?
Yes.
Hey, the original first citizens of the Upside are here
love
together in one piece, and I'm so happy to see you.
I love it. Great seeing you as well. Join us on our social media platforms because I want you to see this holiday glow that I'm talking about on her face. At Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok is where you can stream us live. And don't forget to download our brand new Channel Africa app so you can take us with you wherever you go on your Android or your iOS device. Here's what's coming up on the Upside this afternoon. Some very interesting and important conversations, okay? Because we kickstart the conversations by looking at drunk driving, especially in the festive season. There's now some experts that are saying perhaps if we were to test people on the regular, on the daily, all right, maybe that would curb drunk driving on the roads and the culture of drinking and driving in South Africa, especially during the festive season. I'm not sure how practically that could be rolled out, but testing them on a regular basis, on a daily basis, that could maybe slow them down and say, you know what, before I drink and drive, let me think twice, because I might just get stopped and I may go to jail, and I don't want that. And then we get into conversation with Hubble Studio, who recently won an award for the best use of natural light at the World Architecture Awards 2025. I'm still confused as to how this design is going to be, what kind of designs they work with, because I was telling Unhlanhla earlier, I said to her, if you're going to win an award for best use of natural light, that means that house is either made of glass, the sun goes right through, or it's as minimalistic as you just have a bed outside in nature.
That's
That's
amazing.
it.
That sounds good. But listen, architecture is a fascinating space, and it's going to be great to actually unpack how all of that is possible in an enclosure. What materials are used and all of that. Very excited about the last hour, the grand finale. We're going to be looking at South Africa's youngest scientific trailblazers as they prepare to showcase their breakthrough research at the World Innovative Science Project Olympiad that's going to be taking place in Indonesia, in Bali to be exact. So there's clearly lots to look forward to. And we're so happy that you're catching this broadcast live. We are streaming it audio visually on YouTube and Facebook. Welcome to the Upside.
Your life, your rhythm, your Africa. Channel Africa. Find it for free on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Africa, voici Abedi.
Oui, c'est moi.
Abedi est un passionné de musique dans l'âme. Il a un goût pour toutes sortes de musique et passe ses journées à écouter Channel Africa.
J'aime beaucoup la musique africaine.
Ok. Devinez quoi? Channel Africa veut aider Abedi et les mélomanes du monde entier à découvrir encore plus de musique incroyable. C'est pourquoi Channel Africa appelle les artistes africains à soumettre leur musique. Chers artistes, n'oubliez pas de nous fournir toutes vos informations pertinentes à l'email adresse musique@channelafrica.co.za. Les soumissions sont votre chance d'être entendues, mais elles ne garantissent pas une playlist. Toutes les soumissions seront soigneusement examinées pour voir si elles répondent aux exigences de notre station. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay locked right here.
I don't need nothing from you. Your beautiful art is the muse. I've been reckless with my choices. Can't seem to get what the point is. Life can be rough, can be smooth, and not every fact is the truth. Advancing, I've laid down my burdens. Can't seem to silence the voices. Going in this sentence, I be that person. We go be your shoulder, body, best in anything. Your type, no many, they are not ready. I go give you 100%, never no 90. More than amazing, well quality. You are deserving of the love you are not getting. Independently, I'll take the liberty, and I go love you specially. Oh, all the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. All the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. Them go wanna know why you so colorful. Them go wanna know because the melodies for my chest. Cannot get the hold of myself. Yeah, yeah. I dey hope say you dey feel the same way. I've been low, the money no fit in me. You be cold, we dancing no side baby. Many tales to tell. Oh, in this setting, I be that person. We gon' be your shoulder, body, best in anything. Your type, no many, they are not ready. I go give you 100%, never no 90. But then amazing, well quality. You are deserving of the love you are not getting. Independently, I'll take the liberty, and I go love you specially. Oh, all the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. All the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I go love you. Oh, continue setting, I'll be that person. We gon' be your shoulder, body, best in anything. Your type, no many, we are not ready. I gon' give you 100%, never no 90. But then amazing, well quality. The love you are not getting. Independently, I'll take the liberty, and I gon' love you specially. Oh, all the love, all the care, them they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it. I gon' love you. All the love, all the care, then they fake out. Don't be hard, baby, give it.
This World AIDS Day will rise above disruption, transforming the AIDS response for every African community on Channel Africa.
15 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. This is The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective, with me, Tebohole Kuleni, and Mateko Mosito. She's back. Yes, she's back. The last song we were listening to, what a way to kickstart The Upside this afternoon. All the Love, Ira Star. What a song. What a song. Ira, man. She's just a global superstar in her own right.
She really is.
And every single time you hear a song from Ira, you're like, yeah, no, that's Ira right there. That's Ira. There's a distinctness in her voice. I take it back to the years of And I know I'm, just randomly throwing names out there. You take it back to the names of Joan Armatrading, Tracy Chapman.
yeah,
As soon as you hear
actually.
those people, you know it is Joan Armatrading or Tracy Chapman.
That's quite a league. But I agree with you. She definitely does. There's something also very timeless about how she does this thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Important conversation that we're about to have, drinking and driving, drunk driving during the festive season, and how experts are weighing in and saying perhaps to change the culture around drinking and driving, we should perhaps look at testing people on the regular, perhaps on the daily. Do you think this is something that could help in curbing drunk driving in the festive seasons? Could help. That's why they could help.
Could help. I mean, those holding cells are going to be very under pressure. I can tell you that. Because let me tell you something, especially when it comes to, I'm based in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
And for my entire adult life,
Yeah.
what I have seen is that people in Johannesburg love to drink
Yes.
at any time of the day.
Yep.
There's always an excuse to drink. It's just a mimosa. At 6 o'clock in the morning, somebody's got a mimosa in hand. In the afternoon, there's a drink in hand. At night, there's 6 bottles of wine on the table, right? So we love to drink. People here love to drink. And the issue is that not that they love to drink, is that we have problems of doing it responsibly. I think that is the problem. Where do we draw the line? We obviously have to get on the road. The roads are very busy. We've got to pick up children and that sort of thing. And you've got to, share the road with other individuals.
Absolutely.
So, being a responsible drinker is paramount. At this time. So roadblocks, festive season, that's the big conversation right now.
Absolutely, because every December, Mzansi, that's South Africa, braces for the same dance. Roadblocks, breathalyzers, and those festive season crackdowns that remind us not to drink and drive. But the moment January arrives and the flashing blue lights disappear, old habits creep right back. Yet alcohol and our roads don't take a holiday. And relying on once-a-year enforcement is like trying to fix a leaking bucket with a plaster. Now, a new wave of thinking is emerging. Make alcohol testing part of everyday life. At workplaces, communities, and on the roads. So safety isn't seasonal. It's cultural, and with consistent checks, real behavior change suddenly becomes possible, not just hopeful. Joining us on the line is Rice Evans, Managing Director at Alco Safe, to unpack how routine testing could finally shift South Africa from festive crackdowns to year-round responsibility. Rice, thank you so much for your time. Welcome back to The Upside. Is this the way forward? Testing people on the regular, on the daily, could this curb drunk driving on the road, especially during this festive season?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on the show. Yes, definitely. It would definitely curb alcohol problems on the road in the festive season and throughout the year. And I think that's the goal. We want to curb it throughout the whole year, not just during the festive season. So why we're saying that is because we've actually seen that happen in real life. In all the companies that we work with, where you have companies that do consistent testing on a daily basis. The amount of positive tests and the amount of accidents, the amount of people that report for work under the influence of alcohol drops dramatically if you start to do regular testing, because people know they're going to be tested. So the choice is quite simple then.
Yeah, indeed it is, because then you just get anxious about, what the possibilities are. But let's talk patterns, Rice. What patterns in drunk drivings do authorities see throughout the year outside of this time of the year, the holiday season?
Yeah, so, we all know, everyone's got friends, we all live in South Africa. We know that during the holiday season, there is a spike in the amount of drink driving related cases that's on the road. But is that because of the amount of people increasing on the road? Is it because more people are drinking and driving at that time? Or is it because there's greater testing and greater visibility? So the statistics show that there's a higher number of people testing positive during that time. But if we were testing consistently year round, would we still see that trend, or would we see that we've got a consistently bad drinking and driving behavior in the country. It's just going unnoticed in other times of the year.
Testing for alcohol every single day, daily, routinely, at work, on the roads. Could this change the culture of drinking and driving in South Africa year-round? 20 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time, we'll continue our conversation with Rice Evans, Managing Director at Alco Safe, right after this.
Be inspired. Stay informed. Channel Africa, the beauty of life. Now available anytime, anywhere with our new app.
Parlez-vous couramment le français? Êtes-vous passionné par la radio? Et êtes-vous qualifié pour travailler en Afrique du Sud? Envoyez-nous votre CV et vos 3 minutes démo en MP3 à @channelafrica.co.za pour avoir une chance de rejoindre la famille Channel Africa. Si vous n'avez pas de réponse après 14 jours, cela signifie que vous n'avez pas été retenu. Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
The Upside with Tebogo Kuleni and Matseko Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
21 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time, this is indeed The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective, with me, Tebogo Kuleni, and welcome her back, Matseko Mosito. We're coming to you live from the Auckland Park studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Join us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Why routine and everyday testing of alcohol is so important, and how this can change the culture around drinking and driving in South Africa. We continue our conversation with Rice Evans, Managing Director at Alco Safe. Rice, let's talk about some of the biggest barriers preventing routine testing from becoming a standard. Talk to us about cost, capacity, resources, and what could hinder us from getting there.
Yeah, so I caught a little bit of your conversation earlier about having full prison cells, holding cells. So that's definitely a concern, the capacity to actually deal with all the people that would be found positive on the road. But actually, you know, the main constraints for this is the amount of officers that we have. We just don't have enough officers on the road to deal with all the problems that we have, drunk driving being one of those problems. So you would have a personnel limitation on that. Equipment in the past was one of those things where there was a limiting factor, because in the past, breathalyzers always had to use a mouthpiece. Yeah. So every single time you tested a person, you'd need a new mouthpiece for each test. So if you're trying to test, you know, say 1 million people in a year, and at a cost of R1.50 for one of those mouthpieces, you know, that cost then adds up 1.5 million. Yeah. But nowadays, the police can use a high-speed breathalyzer on the roadside. So basically you have a charging cost or a battery cost, because those instruments, you don't have physical contact with them. You blow into them from about 5 centimeters away. So they hold the instrument up in front of you. You just give a like that, and then it will give you basically an indication that you're above or below the limit. So you screen drivers rather than seeing the exact level. And then if you find a driver that's over the limit, then you do your proper procedural test, where you have a mouthpiece and you do a confirmation test to see what that level is. So that consumable cost is not really a problem anymore. Training of officers would definitely be a problem. We need to have more trained officers on the road. We deal with police quite a lot, and we actually see that it's a very strange thing, but people believe that because a policeman is a policeman, he should automatically know how a breathalyzer works and how alcohol works and how the two work together, and they don't. They require training. So it's the time that's allocated to those people to allocate to do the training. So it's training on the use of the instruments so that they get competent on the use of the instruments, but also on the legality, like the procedures surrounding those instruments. So if you've got properly trained individuals and you've got the latest equipment, obviously it's a budget to train those people, because someone has to train them, and there's a cost to that. It's the purchasing of new equipment, so you would need budget to get that equipment to test everyone on a daily basis, and then the personnel constraints. So the number of people that you got, those would be your 3 main factors that would sort of hinder this type of rollout.
Right. There are obviously tiers to this, you know. I mean, you mentioned the fact that we don't have enough, law enforcement on the road that conduct this thoroughly and properly. But also, you know, the public need to know their rights when they're on the roads and they're being tested. The issue of equipment is another one, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the role that reliable equipment and proper training play in being able to build trust in alcohol testing programs. And I think particularly when it comes to the equipment side of things.
Yeah, definitely. You've raised a very good point there. So when you are going to roll out a large scale testing, and what we've seen when we work with companies and roll out testing within a company for the first time is that there's a huge pushback against it from people that have very little understanding or not given the proper awareness around what's sort of happening. So if you go to a company, I'm using companies as an example because it's kind of a small case study that you can actually get quite quick feedback on rather than trying to do something, across a full country where there is all these constraints that we've just spoken about. So if you look at a very big company where they might have 5,000 employees and they've never tested people for alcohol, they have to have a policy. So in South Africa, we've got the National Road Traffic Act. So in a company, you would have a substance abuse policy, for instance. So the first place to start is to actually communicate that policy. You would have to communicate that Road Traffic Act, and specifically with regards to drink driving, to the people. So to the public that's going to be using the roadway. So don't expect them to understand it or to read it just because it's there. So you need to explain those laws to people quickly, effectively, so that they know what is acceptable. You can't, it's very difficult to hold a law against someone if they don't know the law is there or what that law is. So they need to understand what the drink driving limits are, how easily it's you're able to get to that drink driving limit. So for instance, in South Africa, we actually have 2 drink driving limits, and most people don't know that. We have a private driver's limit. That's a person like me and you driving to work, driving to fetch kids from school, driving home from a restaurant. Our limit is 0.24 milligrams per liter. And for a person of around 80 kilograms, that's around 330 ml beers would get you approximately to that level. Right? It depends on a few other factors, but approximately. Then we also have a PDP driving limit, so a private or professional driver's limit, and that's even lower. So that's only 0.1 milligram per liter. And for a person of around 80 kilograms, that's only half of a beer would get you to that limit already. So knowing your limit is a good place on where to start. How long does it take for that alcohol to get out of the body? So quite a lot of time people will drink, they might drink quite heavily in the evening and then get up in the morning and drive, but they drank till 2 o'clock in the morning. And they don't realize that it actually takes time for that alcohol to be broken down by the liver. Around 1 drink per hour is only removed. So if you drink, 15 drinks, it takes 15 hours for those 15 drinks to be broken down. So you're still under the influence when you wake up in the morning and you're driving, and you can cause accidents on the road when you do that. So those are just 2 of the things which people should know about. Of course, there are rights with regards to equipment. So breathalyzers are electronic scientific instruments. They do need calibration. And depending on the instrument that's being used, they should be calibrated at least every 6 months or once per year if it's a screening device. So screening device minimum once per year, confirmation tests minimum every 6 months. The calibration certificate should actually be readily available, and that shouldn't be something that a police officer has to hide. They should have record of all their calibrations to prove that their instruments are reading accurately. They should be able to show you your reading to prove that you're actually over the limit. So quite a lot of time officers might test a person and actually say, well, you're over the limit, but the person doesn't know what the limit is. Perhaps the officer is unsure of whether he's testing you at the private driver's limit or the professional driver's limit. So all of these things create a lot of confusion and hesitation in the public mind. But if you have very clear understanding of what the rules are, what equipment can be used, who can actually test you, then there isn't a fear around it. Then you've got clear rules that everyone knows that they're playing by. So definitely communicating that Road Traffic Act and the testing procedures is going to give us a lot better buy-in from the public.
Rice, what an invaluable conversation this has been. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Very quickly, where can we find you and AlcoSafe on the socials or website?
So we are on Facebook and LinkedIn, Alcosafe, Pty Limited. And then you can also find us on our website, which is alcosafe.co.za.
Amazing. Rice Evans, Managing Director at Alcosafe, advocating for daily testing of alcohol so that we can reduce the number of drunk driving cases on the roads, not just in South Africa, but I think throughout Africa this needs to be a standardized policy. 30 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time, let's get the latest sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
We begin with football news. Bafana head coach Hugo Broos has announced his highly anticipated final 25-man squad for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations. Bafana go into the tournament with a lot of excitement and large expectations after finishing third at the previous tournament. Bafana have been drawn in Group B and opened their AFCON against Angola on the 22nd of December. They then face Egypt on the 26th of December before ending the group stages against neighbor Zimbabwe on the 29th of December. Broos has stuck to his core of the team, but also made one or two surprise inclusions in this and his final squad. There was no space for Themba Zwane, while Broos selected youngsters Chandre Campbell and Tylon Smith. Mduduzi Shabalala, Igram Reyners and Thabo Moloisane were selected as Broos' three standby players who would come in if any of the selected players would pick up an injury. And match day 2 of the Total Energies CAF Champions League group stage delivered strong performances from North African giants as defending champions Pyramids FC claimed a valuable 1-0 away win against Power Dynamos in Zambia, while Esperance de Tunis came from behind to earn a deserved 1-1 draw against Pedro de Luanda in Angola. Pyramids FC maintained their flawless beginning to the campaign, securing their second victory in as many matches to move joint top of Group A with Morocco's RS Berkane, both sitting on 6 points. Power Dynamos, meanwhile, remained without a point after consecutive defeats to Berkane and Pyramids. In Group D, Esperance de Tunis showed character and determination, overturning a second-half deficit to earn a vital away point against Pedro de Luanda. The Angolan side opened the scoring in the 49th minute through Thiago Reis and putting the hosts in control. On to motor racing. The Formula One Drivers' World Championship is heading for a dramatic showdown in the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi next week, with 3 drivers in contention to win the title. Britain's Lando Norris, and McLaren's leads the standings and is closely followed by defending champion Dutch driver Max Verstappen in a Red Bull and Norris teammate Australia's Oscar Piastri in third. McLaren's mistakes have allowed Verstappen back into contention. The Papaya team made another crucial error in Qatar when all the other cars made a pit stop on lap 7 under a safety car. This handed victory to Verstappen as both Norris and Piastri had to do an extra stop later in the race. McLaren CEO Zach Brown admitted the team made another mistake.
We made the wrong decision. Okay. Feel terrible for Oscar and Lando. Oscar was absolutely impeccable all weekend, so we let them down. You know, you win and lose as a team, but definitely not a great moment.
McLaren team principal Andreas Steyler says it's definitely not the racing cars that are choking.
We have a fast car, we have 2 great drivers, we need to use all the information, everything that we learn from all we do to make sure that we execute perfect race weekends. I think we have all the ingredients to be successful. It's still in our hands, but it requires to do a better job than what we have done in the last 2 races.
And finally, Nigeria's D Tigers fall to Tunisia in overtime thriller of the 2027 FIBA World Cup African qualifiers. Both sides traded baskets until the final seconds, with the regulation ending level at 73 all. Nigeria's T Tigers opened the 2027 FIBA World Cup African qualifiers with a painful overtime defeat, losing 88-78 to host Tunisia in Tunis, despite a spirited performance that kept them in contention until the final minutes. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figede Lingwadi.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Conversations are happening, and Channel Africa is at the heart of them. We tell the African story with clarity, pride, and purpose, reaching audiences that matter to your brand. Partner with us and connect your business with listeners across borders in multiple languages and markets. For partnership opportunities, sponsorship, or sales, email us at partnership@channelafrica.co.za. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
36 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Let's get the latest business news with the man with a golden voice, Thabiso Lihuku.
Business news on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Thanks, Tebogo, and good afternoon. South Africa's Deputy President Paul Mashatile says delegates at the 58th SADC Parliamentary Forum must come up with the policies and programs to address the challenges brought by climate change. Mashatile made a virtual address to the event in Durban in the KwaZulu-Natal province. The meeting heard that 60% of the youth in the SADC region are impacted negatively by climate change.
Key actions include creating climate change strategy and action plan, mainstreaming climate change into other policies, enhancing climate information services, and focusing on water resources management to build regional resilience.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa says that the country's economy is heading towards the right trajectory. The president was speaking in a live address to the nation. President Ramaphosa says the government will continue to work to improve infrastructure in the country after intensive efforts to repair potholes and other problems in Johannesburg ahead of the G20 summit.
Unemployment is falling and has been recorded as such in recent months. Our public finances are improving, allowing us to steadily reduce our national debt. We have recently seen a sovereign credit rating upgrade.
A Purchasing Managers Index survey has showed that a monthly gauge of South African manufacturing sentiment saw its sharpest drop of the year in November. The seasonally adjusted PMI, sponsored by South African bank Absa, fell to 42.0 in November from 49.2 in October. Absa said in a statement that the survey results underscored the fragility of South Africa's manufacturing sector, with demand and production declines overshadowing modest employment gains and easing cost pressures. Oil and Gas Exploration has launched a major board reset and appointed independent non-executive director Roald Goethe as the chairperson. Goethe replaces Phuthuma Nhleko as the West Africa-focused oil producer looks to refinance its debt. The company also announced the immediate departure of 3 independent non-executive directors, shrinking the size of the board to 4 members and cutting the company cost base. The group is seeking to refinance its capital structure amid mounting debt and delayed payments from Ghana's government. The outcome of Sunday's OPEC Plus meeting has marked a turning point. OPEC says that the OPEC Plus group had approved a mechanism to assess members' maximum production capacity to be used for setting output baselines from 2027 against which their output targets are set. Saudi Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman says the mechanism to be adopted is the most important and most transparent decision for determining production levels. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 447. In Botswana, it's at 14 pula 14. Kenya, 128 shilling 73. And Zambia, 22 kwacha 86. The BRICS countries in Brazil, the dollar there will cost you 5.33. Russia, 77 rubles 43. India, 89 rupees 34. China, 7 yuan 6. And in South Africa, the dollar will cost you 17 rand 10 cents. 75 pence to the British pound and 86 to the euro. Gold is trading at $4,250 and platinum $1,687 per ounce. Brent crude oil is at $63.48 a barrel. For any business stories you would like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business in Johannesburg, I'm Thabisolo Hoko.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter?
Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard?
Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126.
And we will call you back.
So you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am, you know.
It's not just talk. It's your chance to air your views.
Share your opinion.
Engage with a community that values your perspective.
Follow us on our social media.
Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za
and get ready to share your views
on Channel Africa,
the African perspective.
Keep Africa in your hands. Connect to our website for all your news, sports, and cultural updates. ChannelAfrica.co.za. The Upside. On the Upside.
Your voice matters.
Military touch.
Everything for you. My love will never die. Don't wanna see you wild. You don't leave me, don't let me go. Don't leave me, don't let me go. Malele na di bali yo. My love will never die. Don't wanna see you wild.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.
Any money where I get, I dey flex, I dey ball, I dey vest, I dey shop, patek, she see fly ball in the jet. My baby, my pet, she na pussycat. See back, see the yansh, free pass, maybe that. She go wine and well when she see the cash. Cash, 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 cash. She go wine and well when she see the cash.
Money at the count, sensors. Hot girls, mentors. I the fuck well, sensor. She go wonder when she see the cash. If I hush pump, she go feed the touch. If I hide the money, she go see the cash. Bend down well when you see the cash. Cash, 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 cash. Bend down well when you see the cash.
She go wine and well when she see the cash.
Any money where I get, I dey flex it. Come up to the pound, in my pound jet. Any money where I get, I dey flex it. Come up to the pound, in my pound jet.
Eleven minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. This is The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective with Tebohole Kuleni and Matseko Mosito. Join us live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. A double play there for you. The last song we're listening to was titled Patek by Chop Life Sound System, Mr. Easy, DJ Tariko, and Joey B. And before that, we had J or Ja Praiser featuring Davido with My Lily. It's now 10 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African time. On the other side of this little breather, it's time for Vent O'Clock. Don't go anywhere.
Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa One. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa One. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Tebogo and Mateko from the upside.
9 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African time. This is indeed the Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African perspective, with Tebogo Lekuleni and Mateko Mosito. Join us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. It's time for Vent O'Clock. So, my vent today is not really, I wouldn't really call it a vent that a lot of people would relate to, but nonetheless, I realized that my car is starting to predict my movements a bit too much, right? A bit too much, because it now knows my routine, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that my car thinks I'm very predictable. Like now on a Monday, when I get into the car, immediately just says, "Oh, driving to the SABC?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, yes, I am." Yes,
love it for the artificial intelligence in the vehicle. Love it.
Yes, I am going to the SABC, but I want to shock it tomorrow, because it's going to do the same thing. Tomorrow I'm going to shock it. Or maybe on Wednesday. I need to shock it and just wake up and drive to Sunset. and then come back.
Wow.
Because this thing of my car being like, you're predictable. I know exactly where you're going. You're going there.
Yep.
No, I am not predictable. I live a very unpredictable life, and it's very exciting. And I don't like the fact that my car now thinks it knows me. So that's my problem with these artificial intelligent thingies now. They think they know everything.
That is so cute.
They can read your mind. You can't even breathe. There's no freedom anymore.
It actually can read your mind.
Everything. How many times have we said, "Oh, we were just talking about this," and then all of a sudden your feed on Instagram, very thing we're talking about.
Let me tell you what happened the other day, and I'm literally just embracing it and using it to my advantage.
Okay.
There was somebody I was looking for on Twitter, and I forgot their name, and I wanted to get in touch with them, and I just spent 2 days thinking about them, and they popped up on my feed.
No.
I'm not even kidding. No. This is a person I haven't spoken to in 2 years.
Explain that.
I have no idea how it happens. And I put this on my Facebook page several years ago, actually before the passing of Eusebius Makaza, who was a political analyst and an author and a broadcaster in South Africa. Yeah. And we had a fat conversation about how this stuff now reads minds. Like we don't even have to have a conversation about it. You just need to think about something, and it comes up on the screen. I was looking for Claire, and I completely forgot her surname, and I forgot so many details, and I forgot, and I just was like, I'm going to think about her for 2 days, and I know she's going to appear on my feed, and she did.
Do you think the same logic applies to money?
I'm going to try that.
Yeah, let's try it.
I'm going to try the money one.
But I wonder how it's going to give us an answer to that, whether it will give us money or access to, I don't know, a competition where there's money. But if we think about it long
Or maybe I just have special powers.
Or maybe you have special powers.
Maybe I have special powers.
That's a real thing. Anyway, that's what I wanted to vent about, to say, I don't like how my car predicts my movements now. That's not on. It's not okay.
Look at your ego getting a little bit bruised.
I am not predictable.
Oh, wow.
I am not a predictable human being, and I don't like the fact that my car thinks that it knows me. Side note, very quickly. Do you know the American show, adapted to America? It was a British UK show called The Office.
Not familiar.
Sitcom. It was a sitcom. It started off in the UK. It's based on just a bunch of people in an office going about their lives and so on and so forth. And in America, adapted it, and that became a worldwide success. And I think whenever you think about The Office, you think about the US version of The Office, Steve Carell, Michael Scott. Well, South Africa is about to create their own adaptation of The Office. It's called Die Kantoor. And I'll park it there for now. We'll chat about it some other time. Die Kantoor. Hey, guys, how original. Anyway, what do you want to vent about?
Well, on that note of AI, I want to vent about AI because it is getting out of hand. Artificial intelligence, listen, there's nothing we can do about it. It is here to stay.
Yes.
It's getting more and more advanced every 3.5 months. That's how rapid the progression of this thing is, right? And robotics and all of that. But we're supposed to use it as a tool, right?
Yes.
Tool being the operative word to, enhance our creative spaces. To build a better Africa, to get ideas, to monetize and to make things happen. But people are starting to abuse it. And that's what I want to vent about. I just want to vent about the abuse of artificial intelligence. It's gone out of hand. All sorts of nonsense floating around. The imitation of people's identities, people's voices to scam others has gotten out of hand. It's become very dangerous. I mean, we're moving into dangerous territory with how we're using artificial intelligence. And scamming people and all of that, and the theft that's happening in the name of AI. That is unacceptable. And we've got to call that out. We cannot just laugh about it and be jaded about it, like, it's just AI. It's not just AI. It is affecting real lives, real people. And if we're not careful, we're going to find ourselves in a position where we are so corrupted by this thing that we can't even see the benefit of it anymore because we are using it for nefarious means. Stop it.
Back with a bang. I tell you what, there was someone who said the actual real use of AI now and all these deep fakes and all these things is so that it can be masked so that when an actual real thing, a phenomenon, something that doesn't appear normal or natural, when that actually really appears, you would immediately say, no, that's AI.
It's AI, exactly.
So someone is saying that they're using it as a way to mask real things that are about to surface up and be revealed to the world. And that's why AI has now become such a thing, and it's all over your timeline, so that you can't distinguish between reality
what's real
and fake.
And what's not.
Hey, so. But if we are using it, use it for good reasons. Use it to be productive. Use it as a tool to help you be more productive, be more efficient. There are certain things that you really don't have to go and do yourself now. The AI is there to help you and guide you, but don't abuse it to an extent that it can harm other human beings. That's absolutely wrong.
Right, and also misinformation is another problem. Is people are not doing their research anymore.
Oh no, they just accept AI.
Yes, this is something that came up in a conversation I was having with some very important people at a conference, and we're talking about how people are not researching the field. I mean, obviously, I work very closely with people in agriculture, and a lot of them also filter into spaces of politics, and people are just not finding their own voices anymore and doing the research. And, they're just using this thing and it's giving them the incorrect information and then they're just regurgitating it back into the public domain. Unacceptable, especially with that. Misinformation is a big one. People are going on the internet and they're looking at influential figures or influencers, if you will, and they believe everything that you are saying. Yeah. So if all you're doing is AI in your way to talking to people,
stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. Stop it. The fact that it's everywhere. It's even on your TVs now. You can't buy a TV now without it having some sort of AI feature. I'm a bit two ways about that one. 2 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest news. Jolani Tulongwepe is standing by.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Deborah. Top stories. Asawa, Rwanda accuses the DRC of delayed tactics and rescue efforts continue in Indonesia following flooding. Good afternoon. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame has accused the Democratic Republic of Congo of delaying the signing of the US brokered peace deal aimed at ending the M23 conflict in the eastern DRC. Congo's Minister of Communication has, however, rejected the accusation and put the blame on Rwanda, whom he accuses of refusing to withdraw its troops from Congolese territory. The DRC President Felix Tshisekedi is this week expected to travel to the United States to sign a final peace agreement with his Rwandan counterpart. Chris Ochamringa has the story.
Recently, President Felix Tshisekedi traveled to Serbia and he met the Congolese community living there, and he told them there will be no integration of M23 soldiers in the army, what they call in French mixage and brassage, because they're saying in the past that is something that they have tried and it has failed to work, because they're saying some of these ethnic Tutsis from Congo have always been kind of spying for the Rwandan government. And so just before even this deal has been signed, we're seeing some cracks and potential trouble ahead.
South Africa's Police Minister Senzo Mchunu is set to appear before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry in Pretoria tomorrow. The commission is probing the KwaZulu-Natal Province Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's allegations that senior police officials, including Mchunu, are corrupt, have links to criminal syndicates and interfere in policing operations. Mchunu, who is on leave of absence, has dismissed the allegations as baseless. Kani Mapanga has more.
We now have confirmation that the current police minister that is on a leave of absence, Minister Senzo Mchunu, will be appearing from tomorrow before the stand. I'm sure his testimony will take more than one day, but of course he is at the center of this critical probe because his disbandment decision, rather if you put it that way, is at the center of what triggered that July announcement by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi to reveal all of these allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system, which brings us to this all-important probe.
The non-profit organization, the South African Institute for Advancement, also known as Inyathelo, says it is crucial for South Africa's non-profit sector to become more financially resilient. This is in light of recent news reports of further cuts in US foreign aid for healthcare. As South Africa commemorates World AIDS Day, the organization says progress has been made in curbing the spread of HIV and making life-saving medication available to more people in Africa. Inyathelo's acting executive director, Ferial Domingo.
No longer can NPOs rely exclusively on donor support, especially not from a single donor source. Income diversification should be prioritized during financial and sustainability planning so that multiple sources of revenue become the norm. Whether this is monetizing your services, renting out extra or spare office space, hosting events for fundraising, or any other ways of spreading the income sources.
South Africa's Minister of Education, Sifiwe Gwahube, has launched the $29,000 Early Childhood Care and Education Outcomes Fund, or ECCE, an initiative led by the Department of Basic Education in partnership with the Education Outcomes Fund as well as local and international partners in Johannesburg. The fund aims to transform early learning for more than 115,000 children across the 3 provinces of the country by linking education funding directly to measurable results. Minister Minister of Basic Education, Gwahube, says that they have recognized that 90% of children's brain development happens before they turn the age of 5, hence the investment in early childhood education. She elaborates on why the fund is unique.
It's an outcomes-based financing model, a form of a blended financing that says we have established what does success look like. So we want to be able to target children from 3 to 5 across the country, particularly those in underserved communities. We want to have 1.1 million new centers built in the next 3 years. We want to make sure that 115,000 learners are getting into the system.
And finally, rescue workers in Indonesia trying to reach those worst affected by devastating floods that have submerged large areas, especially on the island of Sumatra. More than 500 people have died. The BBC's Astudestra Ajengastri has the details.
Rescue efforts are now into a 5th day after torrential rains triggered floods and landslides across Sumatra. The President, Prabowo Subianto, has arrived in Tapanuli and Aceh, 2 of the worst affected areas, and ordered faster disaster relief amid criticisms that the government's response has not been swift enough. Hundreds of bodies are believed to still be trapped under the mud, according to the National Disaster Agency. There are reports of looting in Aceh province, where some residents say they haven't eaten for days.
Recapping the top story, the Saba Rwanda's President Paul Kagame has accused the Democratic Republic of Congo of delaying the signing of the US-brokered peace deal aimed at ending the M23 conflict in the eastern DRC. For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulo Wepe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
The afternoon conversations continue on The Upside. Lifestyle, culture, and global changes. Right here on Channel Africa, The African Perspective.
Seven minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the golden hour of The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with me, Tebohole Kuleni, and Matseko Mosito. Coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Join us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. And don't forget to download our brand new Channel Africa app so you can take us with you wherever you go on your Android or your iOS device. And while you're at it, check out our not brand new, but our revamped website, www.channelafrica.co.za. We are talking all things property, architecture, design in this hour. And actually, I would like to ask you, Matseko Mosito, how would you maximize natural lighting? Given a property, what would you do?
Wow, that's a big question. I will say that I am a big fan of light.
Yes.
A huge fan.
I know that.
You know that, right? Know that. So lots of, what do you call it? Sky. What is it called? Sky room,
yeah,
skylight.
Yeah, those sunrooms or whatever they call it.
Yeah, sunroom. Yes. Yeah, I have a sunroom, but there are lots of skylight. I think that's what it's called.
Skylights, yes, with the
big windows.
Windows, yes.
Yes, and also I like the idea of, or at least architecturally, feeling like, because I don't think I'm going to have paving in my next property.
Oh, okay.
There's lots of paving where I stay.
Okay. But what would you rather have?
But where I'm going in the near future, there's going to be literally zero paving. There's going to be lots of green, lots of grass. And yes, I know there's termites, but we'll find a way to deal with that.
There are ways.
There are always options. So I want to create a space where there is so much light coming in, and also where you can't really tell whether you're in the house or whether you're outdoors. Where it just feels like you're still outside, even though you're indoors.
Okay.
So I like that. I like that kind of architecture, and it's just a personality thing. You know, that's just who I am, y'all.
Well,
so
we know.
we're gonna experiment with that. It's gonna be quite interesting.
I love that, because Habbo Studio has won Best Use of Natural Light at the World Architecture Festival 2025, and we're going to find out exactly how they went about doing that. What does modern design look like in architecture, where more and more people want to have the outdoors in and want to have natural light instead of these artificial lights that we have. They want more natural light. How does that look like? How do they go about approaching this? And perhaps we can get a few tips and tricks on designing our next property, your next property, Matsheko Musito. It's 2 p.m. Central African time. Actually, it's 10 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We'll have that conversation right after this. Don't go anywhere. This is The Upside.
Madapiri bazoshitika. Madapiri bazoshitika.
Inogeka zingeni chihana lumbiritsidwa kukhala wachiwiri kwa mtsogoleri wa dziko la Malawi pa mwambo omwe unachitika ku nyumba ya chifumu ya Sanjika mu mzinda wa Blantyre. Ndiye pano tili ndi olemekezeka achihana. Takulandirani olemekezeka pano pa wireless ya Channel Africa pa Chinyanja Service. Amalawi ayembekezere zotani kuchokera kwa inu ngati wachiwiri winaso kwa president wa dzikolo?
Choyamba ngati vice president umagwira ntchito yopatsidwa ndi president imene yakuganizira. Ndiye malowozi athu atipatsa bwinobwino, koma ntchito yathu yayikulu ndi kuwathandiza president kuti masomphenya awo yakwanitsidwe. Pali zambiri zoti zichitike, nkhani ya njala mdziko muno, boma la udakali chimanga ndi china chomwe chili mdziko muno kuti tithandize ana families are affected. Chachiwiri kunali ma fuel shortages amene akanaliponso apo ndi apo, tionetsetse kuti pumps athu asakhale dry.
Zochitika pa nthawi ya 6 koloko kufikira 7 koloko madzulo, lolemba mpaka lachisanu ndi Madapiri.
Ukatili wa kijinsia unaharibu maisha na kutenga jamii. Hutokea nyumbani, shuleni, kazini na mara nyingi kwa ukimya. Lakini hauwezi kuendelea. Ukiona, ongea. Ikiwa unaumia, funguka, kwa sababu kutofanya lolote sio chaguo. Sikiliza vituo vyote 19 vya redio kuanzia Jumatano ya tarehe 23 Julai kwenye mijadala, ushauri, tamthilia, maonyesho ya elimu na mahojiano na wataalamu, manusura, watunga sheria na nchi nzima iliyoathirika na ukatili wa kijinsia kwenye vituo vyako pendwa vya redio. Piga simu 0800-428-428 ili kuripoti unyanyasaji au kupata msaada. GBV ikomeshwe na wewe. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na shirika la SABC.
Your afternoons just got even better. Fresh and exciting.
The Upside, hooking you up with today's news
from an African perspective.
Another banger. Girl, in your love, where they ginger me, you they give me the love and the energy. Only you where they hide me like Hennessy, baby, Girl, in your love, where they ginger me, you they give me the love and the energy. Only you where they giving me melody, Yeah, this love me I never see before, baby, This fight for. I'ma get on you, say now you I go die for. I don't get motor, but now you I go ride for. When I dey sing, say now you I dey sing for. Wine baby dance, make you move for the dance floor. I'ma get shit, no be me, you dey fall for. Wine slow, boogie down low. Now the first time where I dey in love, oh. It be like drug where they make me slow. Anywhere you go, I go follow you go. Mogbe oh, Monica, Monica, eh, Monica.
15 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Ginger Me by Rema. This is The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with me, Tebogo Lekuleni, and Matseko Mosito. We're coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Join us live as we are streaming on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. All right, let's talk about Matseko's favorite topic, using natural light in your designs. Let's go.
Absolutely. Man, I love that song. So beautiful. And yes, we are celebrating Hubo Studio today, as they are, of course, also celebrating the fact that they have won a major international achievement as the Red Hill Early Learning Center, or rather named the winner of... the best use of natural light category. This was at the World Architecture Festival for the year 2025. This is a Johannesburg studio, by the way, that earned global recognition for a project that was shaped closely with children, with teachers as well were involved, and the leadership of Red Hill School, creating a learning environment where light guides daily discovery and supports young learners in meaningful ways. See, light is important. It's not just about aesthetics, all right? So the honor comes during the remarkable year for Hubo Studio and its founder, Asher Marcus, with national and international award recognition for their work in education focused design. The studio also continues to set new standards for early learning environments, and of course we're looking at the Red Hill Early Learning Center, as we mentioned, and it is a pleasure for us to talk about how this stands out, the flagship example of this work in architecture, and also how it's really helping to make learning environments so much more effective and more beautiful. Asher Marcus joins us on the line in his capacity as, of course, the founder of Hubo Studios, so we can celebrate with him this afternoon. Welcome, Asher. Thank you very much for joining us on Channel Africa.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. I think before we get into congratulations for this particular category and award, let's talk about the work of Hubo Studio. Talk to us about establishing the studio and what your mission was as you began the journey.
Okay, cool. So I founded Hubo Studio about 7 years ago, 8 years now actually, and it was an architecture studio like any other architectural studio.
Yeah.
I did all kinds of work, and I dived into a project called Sibikwa Art Center, which was a township art and drama center.
Stunning
that
place.
The person who I was freelancing for actually didn't want to do it and said, "Can you take this off my hands?" And I wasn't even really qualified, but she said she'd sign off for me. So I took that on, and along with that, I got another big community commission, and from that started almost straight out of university a studio, which I've been fortunate to run. It was a very stressful thing running these big projects without kind of knowing what it was all about. You've learned in university, but university to real life, the translation is full of lots of learning curves. Anyway, the process has been really cool and fun, but what happened in the last 3 or so years is a realization of, I have endless energy for educational space and a great gut feel for it. So as a studio, we've taken a kind of pivot where we've focused solely on educational space for the last 3 years, working around the world on the most unbelievably exciting schools to try and make the best schools in the world, reinventing what schools look like and feel like, working with top schools to really just, create unbelievable spaces, wonderful spaces for children.
It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. We'll continue our conversation with Asher Marcus, the founder of Hubo Studio. They recently won Best Use of Natural Light at the World Architecture Festival 2025 for the Red Hill Early Learning Center. And we'll find out more about it right after this.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Weekdays, 6 till 9.
The South African Medical Association, SAMA, has officially suspended all relations with the Israeli Medical Association, a move welcomed by healthcare workers for Palestine, South Africa. The organization says this decision represents a powerful stand for medical ethics, justice, and human rights, echoing the global call for solidarity with Palestinians.
And recently, we've also seen other national associations, such as the British Medical Association, Turkish. They've released quite strongly worded statements, although none have gone as far as SAMA to cut ties with the Israeli Medical Association, as well as to call for the suspension from the World Medical Association. It's a watershed moment that the organization has actually taken this step. And it's not an idle threat. SAMA is a member of the World Medical Association, and they can action this resolution by bringing it before the World Medical Association.
Dr. Sadiq Mullah, chairperson of Healthcare Workers for Palestine, South Africa.
Mornings made better with Peter and Asanda on Rise and Shine. Matseko Musito and Deboholi Kuleni on the Upside.
21 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Let's continue our conversation with Asher Marcus, the Hubo Studio founder. They recently won Best Use of Natural Light at the World Architecture Festival 2025 for the Red Hill Early Learning Center. And what makes this win so extraordinary is how the space was created with the children, teachers, and leadership of Red Hill School in mind. It's a building where sunlight isn't just illumination, it's part of how young minds learn, explore, and discover every day. Actually, let's talk about this project, Red Hill School. How did it come about? Because light being used as a central theme suggests that you have a background or an understanding of what children need in learning environments.
Okay, great. It actually came about because I had a deficit in my understanding, and I had done some educational projects, and I was approached by Joseph Gerassi, the executive head at Red Hill School, and he said, can I help him to fit out the interiors of a building that they're about to build?
Yeah.
And I looked at the building. He said to me, it's part of the Reggio Emilia approach, which is an educational philosophy from Italy. And I kind of looked at the building and I said to him, Joseph, I can't kit this out. You need to, if you're going to invest this kind of money, I need to go to Reggio Emilia. I need to understand what this is, and we need to do this as a holistic project.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, I was actually on a plane to Italy and on the educational study group, the international study group in Reggio Emilia, learning about the Reggio Emilia philosophy, which is all about how children are the most important players in the world, how they're little researchers, how they're contributors. It was all the things I kind of knew, but hadn't fully realized that I was allowed to say and stand by. And part of what happened at that trip is, I saw there were 85 educators on that trip, and I was the only architect. And by the end of that, I realized, no, actually there's 86 educators on this trip, because as an architect, we actually play the role of creating what we call the third space, and how important space is in teaching. The silent kind of curriculum is what guys are talking about today. The part that is unsaid but is felt. And so we took a shot at redesigning the school. It was really well received by the school. They took a risk and went with our full design, and we built this unbelievably exciting and new school. But from Reggio Emilia, it was all about collaboration, and I was quite certain that we had to do this in authentic Reggio Emilia style, and that was to really collaborate with the teachers, the children, which was unbelievable, and even as a team. Many teams, the designer makes all the decisions and everybody kind of below just implements. That's not how we do it at Hubo Studio. We actually, everyone's got a voice, from our interns to the senior architects, and we really did work closely together to do this. And very importantly, we worked with the children in creating a vision. I mean, they craved the hug of nature. The site had been flattened, earthworks had happened. The building that was the block, the regular school block, just like prison blocks and hospitals that you might know, was ready to go up. But this is for 3-year-olds to 7-year-olds, and we, with the children, we reimagined, you know, how nature could be a part of the building. And I guess one very important part being in Reggio Emilia, the idea of light. Light is not just an element, but it's a material in learning. And I mean, that came across quite strongly, and it was quite a unique take in how we approached this building, treating, you know, facades as pieces that dance in the light and having this big glass piazza. So light was such an important part. The children were so important in that. And with the teachers, we came up with this idea of creating the feeling of light, you know, light being a feeling and not just a material. So all those three elements kind of came together through workshopping, authentic collaboration. And I always say, like, it's not stakeholder engagement, because that's just box ticking. This was like a real cool collaborative effort.
Right. Man, you know, actually, you mentioned, Asha, the fact that you also have to establish or create the space of Sibigwe Art Center, where I used to spend quite a lot of time, and so many things make sense now about why the space was so appealing to me as somebody that just loves artistic spaces of that kind. So well done on that. But I want to talk about, because this is just so fascinating, you know, the work that you're doing. You mentioned this wonderful philosophy from Italy as well. But I want to get an understanding of the World Architecture Festival. It's a festival that I haven't heard of, and I would imagine the listener hasn't heard of as well. So talk to us about the World Architecture Festival, you know, the role that it's playing in global architecture. Because if we're able to borrow from one another at this level, I mean, I can only imagine, especially for the space of education, because I love your philosophy as Huber Studios being educational spaces as visionary as you are.
I love that. Okay, no, so the best part about World Architecture Festival is it was in Miami, which is such a great place to visit and just see. Everybody said, like, you know, it's kind of the World Cup of architecture. So you enter your building, there's thousands of entries, they shortlist you. So we got shortlisted in the educational category. And then we also got shortlisted out of the 400 projects at the World Architecture Festival, 40 get put into a category for a special prize. And we were put into the best use of natural light category. So that means that you're in the kind of top 40 buildings and you've been allocated into a prize, but you're up against, you know, some of the biggest, best projects in the world. So we were presenting alongside, you know, some of our heroes, which, you know, for example, Studio Gang, which is like a US-based Chicago firm with offices in New York and London. They're all over the place, and their buildings in Paris, and it's tens of millions of dollars. We came up against the Sydney Central Station, which was a $1 billion project. It had 34 architects working on the project. It took 8 years to complete. I mean, this is a competition that we were up against, and it is one thing to be up against, but yeah, got to be exposed to, you know, and got to learn from and got to see. And it starts off, everybody kind of starts off quite, you know, architects, they all quite serious. And as the World Architecture Festival goes on and everyone learns about your projects, it starts to become this great global community. And we didn't think we really had a chance to win in these categories because, you know, we're the kind of clout of these guys and the bigness of the competition we're up against. But we told our story, you know, as best as we could. And I think in telling our story in an authentic way, the way that we know best how to do, it appealed to the judges. It had so much narrative, so much conceptual translation. So taking home one of the WAF prizes, you know, there's 5 big prizes, it was pretty wild, actually.
Asha, where can we find you on the socials or perhaps a website, and also check out the amazing work that you're doing there at Red Hill?
Cool. So we are definitely on Instagram at Hubo Studio, and that's where you'll see the day-to-day stuff. On LinkedIn, you can search for Asher Marcus or Hubo Studio, and you'll find that's where you'll find the kind of bigger events in our lives. And then our website is hubostudio.com. And we're going to revamp that soon. But yeah, we're hopefully trying to be everywhere nowadays.
Asher, congratulations on your victories, on your awards. And I also know that you won another award at the Scape Awards for Educational Build of the Year for the Red Hill School. So all the awards coming in your direction in 2025, and congratulations on that. The voice there of Asher Marcus. He is the founder of Hubo Studio. Check them out on social media and all the amazing work that they are doing. 30 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Let's get the latest sports with Figi Lelingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Let's kick off with football news. Bafana head coach Hugo Broos has announced his highly anticipated final 2025 men's squad for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations. Bafana go into the tournament with a lot of excitement and large expectations after finishing third at the previous tournament. And Bafana have been drawn in Group B and open the AFCON against Angola on the 22nd of December. They then face Egypt on the 26th of December before ending their group stages against neighbors Zimbabwe on the 29th of December. Broos has stuck to his core of the team, but also made one or two surprise inclusions in his final squad. There was no space for Themba Zwane, while Broos selected young stars Shandre Campbell and Tylon Smith. Mduduzi Shabalala, Igram Reyners and Thabo Mloisane were selected as Broos' 3 standby players who would come in if any of the selected 25 players would pick up an injury. The Sudanese national football team has qualified for the Arab Cup, set to be held in Qatar from the 1st to the 18th of December. This after defeating Lebanon at Al Gharafa Stadium in Doha in the tournament's qualifying playoff. The Sudanese team overcame a challenging situation during the match after their striker John Manu was sent off in the 22nd minute of the first half. Lebanon initially took advantage of numerical superiority and scored the opening goal, but this did not deter Sudan, which rallied to equalize in the same half through defender Mustafa Kashom, eventually winning. Sudan will compete in the Arab Cup in Qatar in Group D alongside defending champion Algeria and Iraq, and also included is Bahrain. On to motor racing. The Formula One's Drivers' World Championship is heading for a dramatic showdown in the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi next week, with 3 drivers in contention to win the title. Britain's Lando Norris in a McLaren leads the standings and is closely followed by defending champion Dutch driver Max Verstappen in a Red Bull and Norris's teammate, Australia's Oscar Piastri, in third. McLaren's mistakes have allowed Verstappen back into contention. The Papaya team made another crucial error in Qatar when all other cars made a pit stop on lap 7 under a safety car. This handed victory to Verstappen as both Norris and Piastri had to do an extra stop later in the race. McLaren CEO Zak Brown admitted the team made another mistake.
We made the wrong decision. Feel terrible for Oscar and Lando. Oscar was absolutely impeccable all weekend, so we let them down. You know, you win and lose as a team, but definitely not a great moment.
McLaren team principal Andrea Stella says it's definitely not the racing cars that are choking.
We have a fast car, we have 2 great drivers, we need to use all the information, everything that we learn from all we do to make sure that we execute perfect race weekends. I think we have all the ingredients to be successful. It's still in our hands, but it requires to do a better job than what we have done in the last 2 races.
And finally, Nigeria's D Tigers fall to Tunisia in overtime thriller of the 2027 FIBA World Cup African qualifiers. Both sides traded baskets until the final seconds, with the regulation ending level at 73 all. Nigeria's T Tigers opened the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup African qualifiers with a painful overtime defeat, losing 88-78 to host Tunisia in Tunis, despite a spirited performance that kept them in contention until the final minutes. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Fikile Lingwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Be inspired. Stay informed. Channel Africa, the beauty of life. Now available anytime, anywhere with our new app. Stay tuned to Channel Africa. Stream us on our new and updated website, channelafrica.co.za.
35 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Let's get the latest business news with Mr. Golden Voice, Thabiso Lihuku.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thanks, Tebogo, and good afternoon. The British government has decided to end UK Export Finance's support for the Total Energies-led Mozambique liquefied natural gas project. Britain had promised financial support of $1.15 billion for the $20 billion project via UKEF in 2020. The development was scheduled to make the African nation a major LNG exporter to Europe and Asia, but it was halted in 2021 due to an Islamist insurgency in the region. South Africa's power utility Eskom has reported a profit of $1.4 billion for the first 6 months ended September 2025. The improvement in the power utility's financial and operational performance has been attributed to the successful implementation of the turnaround strategy, as well as decisive and effective leadership. Eskom's interim financial result coincides with the end of the board term on the 30th of this month. Eskom spokesperson Daphne Mukwena says under the board's oversight, Eskom delivered 96% electricity reliability in 2024-2025, improving to 98% year to date. South Africa's Deputy President Paul Mashatile says delegates at the 58th SADC Parliamentary Forum must come up with policies and programs to address challenges brought by climate change. Mashatile made a virtual address to the event in Durban in the KwaZulu-Natal province. The meeting heard that 60% of the youth in the SADC region are impacted negatively by climate change.
Key actions include creating climate change strategy and action plan, mainstreaming climate change into other policies, enhancing climate information services, and focusing on water resources management to build regional resilience.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa says that the country's economy is heading towards the right trajectory. The president was speaking in a live address to the nation. Ramaphosa says that the government will continue to work to improve infrastructure in the country after intensive efforts to repair potholes and other problems in Johannesburg ahead of the G20 summit.
Unemployment is falling and has been recorded as such in recent months. Our public finances are improving, allowing us to steadily reduce our national debt. We have recently seen a sovereign credit rating upgrade.
European stock markets fell, pushing back from recent gains, while the yen and Japanese government bond yields got a boost from comments suggesting the central bank could hike interest rates. Equities were jittery in November, but strengthened in the past week, helped by traders increasingly betting that the US Federal Reserve will cut rates at its December meeting. Europe's Stoxx 600 was down 0.3% on the day as a fresh wave of risk aversion gripped markets. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 447. In Botswana, it's at 14 pula 14. Kenya, 128 shillings 73. And Zambia, 22 kwacha 86. The BRICS countries in Brazil, the dollar there will cost you 5 real 33. Russia, 77 rubles 43. India, 89 rupees 34. China, 71 6. And in South Africa, the dollar will cost you 17 rand 10 cents. 75 pence to the British pound and 86 to the euro. Gold is trading at $4,250 and platinum $1,687 per ounce. Brent crude oil is at $63.48 a barrel. For any business stories you would like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business in Johannesburg, I'm Thabisolo Hoko.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
The sound of Africa is evolving. Experience our new mobile app. Free to download, free to connect.
Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa One. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa One. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Broadcasting in 5 different languages, connecting the continent. This is Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Decision. This is my decision. I don't think you listen. You listen. I don't think you listen. For me to come out, it must mean I'm not the dog. It must mean I'm not the same. It must mean I'm on your case. For me to come out, it means that I'm not the dog. I want to show you my world. Only me and you, only me.
and You by Thames, 45 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the Monday edition of The Upside. Oh my goodness. It's not just the Monday edition of The Upside. It's December. It's the 1st of December.
Boss.
What are your plans for this December month, Matsheko Mosito?
To come and be an astute upsider. That is my plan
Very
for
noble.
December.
Very noble indeed.
Noble
And
human being I am.
We're not going anywhere. On social media, at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok is where you can stream us live. And don't forget to download our brand new Channel Africa app so you can take us with you wherever you go on your Android or your iOS device. We get ready now for What Caught Your Eye. It's been a minute since we've done a What Caught Your Eye. I would imagine quite a few things have caught your eye over the past couple of weeks that I haven't seen you.
Listen, to so many things caught my eye, but I don't know if they're newsworthy. Let's find something that's newsworthy.
Listen, there's a story that I'm going to share, and it literally caught eyes. Literally and physically caught eyes. And I'm going to share that in a moment's time, because if you watched the rugby this past weekend between the Springboks and Wales, then you will know what I'm going to be talking about. So let's take a quick breather. When we get back, it's time for What Caught Your Eye. And by the way, you're more than welcome to share what caught your eye as well on our social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. On our social media TikTok account, it's at Channel Africa 1 and at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube. Comment below or send us a voice note, +27 63 406 9126.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix. Leo tujadili kuhusu chipukizi wanaoimba nyimbo za wasanii wengine. Unadhani hili linatokana na nini, Omari?
Nadhani kweli kwamba tukizama muziki ya sasa, hasa wasanii ambao ni chipukizi, kwa kweli kwamba yani karibu kutoka muziki yao wenyewe, lakini wanakuwa wanapenda kuhubiria muziki ya zamani, hizo muziki ya wengine ambazo ni taimbo.
Wengine wanadai kufanya hivyo ni kupromote vipaji vyao haraka ili waweze kujulikana. Je, yawezekana kukawa na ukweli wowote au ndio kukosa kabisa kipaji cha kuandika mistari?
Ndio, unaona kwamba msanii anapoazimia kwamba kuchukua wimbo mwingine wa msanii mwingine na kurudia yani mara mbili sivyo, haionyeshi kwamba yani ndio wanaanza kazi ya muziki aizani, lakini ukiangalia kabisa asilimia kubwa utakuja kuona kwamba wanakosa ile mawazo ya kutunga muziki.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
This World AIDS Day will rise above disruption, transforming the AIDS response for every African community. On Channel Africa, Tebogo and Mateko from the Upside.
12 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African Time, it's time for What Caught Your Eye. Here's what caught my eye.
Tell us.
You know, rugby. Many have said that rugby... Where's my mic? There, my other mic.
Your card.
My other mic. You know rugby. Many people call rugby, they say that it's a hooligan's game played by gentlemen. Right? Have you heard that saying before? No? Okay. Matseko hasn't heard that saying.
I'm trying to jog my memory now.
Okay. Rugby is a hooligan's game played by gentlemen. Some will argue, though, that a certain lock, an enforcer, a Springbok lock by the name of Eben Elizabeth Etzebeth, was not very gentlemanly during that game. They were playing against Wales this past weekend at the Principality Stadium in Wales. And they thrashed, there's no other way of saying, they thrashed Wales 73-0. 73-0. I'm going to say it again. What a game that was. What a victory for the Springboks. And we were celebrating. Yes, oh yes, Springboks are the best. Yes, we're the best in the world. And then during that game as well, I might also add, are there any fans of Sasha Feinberg Mgomezulu? We've got our social media specialist Sfiso Hlope saying he's a fan of Sasha Feinberg. Mngomezulu. He broke a record this past weekend, becoming the leading fly half try scorer the Springboks have ever had. Right, he scored 9 tries in total. He's got 9 tries in 19 games. That's a record, because the second on the list is Morney Steyn, who played 68 tests, 68 games, and only managed to score 8 tries. Usasha managed to do this score 9 tries in 19 games. This boy is a superstar. He's a superstar, this boy. And then Handré Pollard, if you're wondering, he's number 3, 85 tests and only had scored 8 tries. But there was a little scuffle that happened. And, rugby, things can get a bit heated in the moment and physical. There was a scuffle that happened. And in the process of the scuffle, Eben Etzebeth was caught on camera having eye gouged a player. Eye gouging is having your hands or whatever physically interacting with another human being's eyes. And this can cause tremendous harm on a player. And the World Rugby deems this a very, very serious offense that is worth penalizing the player and taking them off the field for a period of time. The sanctions can range anywhere from a couple of weeks on the low end, 4 weeks, and on the high end of it, the maximum possible ban for Eben Etzebeth could be 208 weeks, which is 4 years. This would pretty much end his rugby career, or international rugby career for the Springboks. The questions that they will be asking, because the video has been circulating on social media, slowed down versions of it, and you can see his fingers, his thumb going into the other player's eye. All right, and it doesn't look good. But World Rugby will be looking at a couple of things. They'll be looking at intent. Was it deliberate or accidental? I don't think it was accidental. Was it force and danger? The force and danger will then determine, did the fingers enter the eye socket or just brush the area? Then they'll be looking at the injury to the player and then the player's disciplinary record. They'll be looking at whether or not Eben Etzebeth is someone who has previously been sanctioned or been red flagged for ill discipline on the field. As it stands, World Rugby has acknowledged this and they're putting this under review. Question is, will Eben Etzebeth, the enforcer, get banned for this very ungentlemanly behavior on the field? Eye gouging is very much frowned upon. You don't do that. However frustrated you may be, however heated the moment, you never eye gouge. That's just not a thing. That's not gentlemanly. So I want to know from you, what do you think is going to happen to Eben, the enforcer, Elizabeth Etzebeth? Is he going to get banned on the low end? Because he can just also get off with a warning. They could just, Eben, just don't do that again. Or they could ban him maximum 200 and something years, or 200 and something weeks over 4 years. What do you think? Let us know on our social media platforms, on TikTok at Channel Africa 1. What do you think is going to happen to the enforcer? We're not taking away from the fact that Wales got a beating. All right. Matsheko Mosito, what caught your eye?
Listen to you, spokesperson of the hooligans. Love it for you.
Gentlemen. Hooligans game played by gentlemen. Gentlemen.
Hooligan gentlemen. It's the 1st of December today, 2025, which means that we're acknowledging World AIDS Day. And I've actually seen a sharp decline in us acknowledging this day and acknowledging the pandemic because since the since the dawn of COVID, and, during that period, there was a lot of focus on that pandemic and not so much talk about, international AIDS matters, as it were. So let's look at that. Since today is World AIDS Day, UNAIDS issued an urgent warning after funding cuts. Very, very important. So on the eve of World AIDS Day 2025, which was yesterday, UNAIDS released a report that they titled Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response, revealing that steps when it comes to international funding cuts this year, threatening to unravel decades of progress that has been made in HIV prevention and care. very important because we're looking at the drop in internal health aids, estimated at 30 to 40% lower lower this year than in the year 2023. And it also, of course, looks at consequences of this, prevention programs that are scaled back, but shutdown of so many important things that are targeting, assisting young women, marginalized groups, vulnerable groups, especially, of course, here on the African continent. Why is this striking? Well, the progress of the past 20 to 30 years remains quite fragile. So we've got to tread very carefully since these cutbacks and look at other ways, creative ways in which we can assist the pandemic. But in other good news, just quickly to mention that there are glimmers of hope when we look at innovation and medical treatment, because on today, on the 1st of December 2025, World AIDS Day, the first doses of the 6-monthly injection, lenacapavir, I think it's called, were administered here in South Africa. Of course, this marking a breakthrough, as this is among the first real-world rollout of the drug in a low or middle-income country like South Africa. So this particular lenacapavir shows extraordinary potential in terms of it being able to reduce the risk of HIV transmission by 99.9%.
Wow.
That's why this is a big deal. Okay, so this obviously then reduces the burden in countries like South Africa. We're looking at other rollouts, perhaps in other parts of sub-Saharan Africa as well. So this is very hopeful. It proves that even amid funding storms like the one that I'd mentioned, science still continues. Innovation is still quite real. And there is still opportunity for us to prevent this illness. 99.9%.
Wow.
Let that sink in. I think we're really getting somewhere in terms of medical intervention and the prevention of this disease. Africa is a very young continent. We have the youngest population in the world. So if there's one thing that it has to be everyone's personal business, is the health of the people, the health of the young people, because they're ultimately the ones that are going to take over industry. And make sure that we're taking this continent forward. So I thought that was a good glimmer of hope when we look at innovation in the prevention of HIV and AIDS.
All right, that's what caught our eye this afternoon. Let us know what caught your eye on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. And also remember, there was a time when World AIDS Day, you'd wear your little ribbon.
Actually,
we no longer do that. I can't remember the last time we wore the ribbons on the 1st of December. Oh, we're not wearing them now.
We need to maybe listen. They're like the big influencers now. The Amapiano artists. Maybe they can make an AIDS Day song and bring the ribbon back in vogue, baby.
Do we still do Mandela's 466 what concert? Is that still a thing?
No, we do not do that anymore.
Not anymore.
No. But we do push our give back buttons on Mandela Day on the 18th of July.
Once a year.
Yeah.
All right. It's less than 2 minutes to go before 3 p.m. Central African time. At the top of the hour, we'll get the latest news with Jwalani Tulo Mwepe.
Bad man. Bad man. Yeah. Say what's on my mind. Me, I got no time. Nobody can stop. Waiting God design. Me, I'm not the pastor. Me, I love them who wine. The boy know they entitled. If you treat me right, it's fine. Right. Wine for me. Sexy girl, then wine for me. Right now, me no got no time to keep no dirty company. Only positivity, no bad energy. I live my life the way I want to own no one apology. Yeah. Rain, go away. Come back and fall another day. Me, I know my fellas and my people want to play. Nobody really care what I hate, I got to say. Rain, go away. Come back and fall another day. Cause me, I know my fellas and my people want to play. Nobody really care what I hate, I got to say. Yeah. your day. Make a day by day.
Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa. SABC News. The African Perspective.
Top stories: Asawa, Guinea-Bissau bans protests and strikes, and the death toll in Indonesia floods rises to more than 500. Good afternoon. I'm Jolani Tulo Webe. Guinea-Bissau's military rulers have banned protests and strikes, this as they tighten control ahead of a high-level visit by West Africa's ECOWAS bloc that is seeking to restore constitutional order following last week's coup. The military government says strikes and activities regarded as threats to peace and stability were prohibited. The directive also ordered public institutions, ministries and state secretariats to reopen and resume operations. The announcement followed protest in Bissau on Saturday, where hundreds, primarily youths, demanded the release of detained opposition leaders and the publication of presidential election results. The mediation team from the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, comprising the presidents of Togo, Cape Verde and Senegal, along with the ECOWAS Commission President, was expected in Bissau today. The state, supported by South Africa's Democratic Alliance Party, has called for former President Jacob Zuma's application to appeal the repayment order to be dismissed. This comes as the High Court in Pretoria heard Zuma's case to appeal a court order requiring him to repay $1.6 million in state-funded legal fees. They related to his criminal and civil cases. The state says the payments were unlawful, and because Zuma personally benefited, he must reimburse the money to uphold the rule of law. The DA had previously asked that his pension be attached if he cannot pay. The state's legal representative, Advocate George Avagomides, told the court that simply declaring the payments invalid is not enough.
Our learned friend argued that someone else was to blame, and innocently Mr. Zuma was the recipient and the beneficiary of other people's decisions. That may factually be true, but it's not before your law. Unfortunately, that is not how the principle of legality works. That is not how the rule of law works. And in fact, if you disregard the provisions of the Constitution, this is precisely what happens.
The non-profit organisation, the South African Institute for Advancement, also known as Inyathelo, says it is crucial for South Africa's non-profit sector to become more financially resilient. This is in light of recent news reports of further cuts in US foreign aid for healthcare. As South Africa commemorates World AIDS Day, the organisation says progress has been made in curbing the spread of HIV and making life-saving medication available to more people in Africa. Inyathelo's acting executive director, Ferial Domingo.
No longer can NPOs rely exclusively on donor support, especially not from a single donor source. Income diversification should be prioritized during financial and sustainability planning so that multiple sources of revenue become the norm. Whether this is monetizing your services, renting out extra or spare office space, hosting events for fundraising, or any other ways of spreading the income sources.
The South African Weather Service continues to warn the public to take weather warnings seriously as they play a critical role in reducing the risk of injury, loss of life and property damage. This after severe thunderstorms left a trail of damage across Gauteng, Limpopo and the Mpumalanga provinces after a level 4 warning was issued yesterday. Pretoria North and the Gauteng's East Rand were among the hardest hit. Forecaster Lehlohonolo Thobela says climate trends show more frequent and intense storms for these provinces.
The warning highlighted the potential for large hail, heavy downpours, as well as strong winds. All of the impacts were realized as severe thunderstorms intensified over these regions into the evening. The public is strongly urged to take weather warnings seriously as they play a critical role in reducing the risk of injury, loss of life, or property damage. The impacts clearly demonstrate how quickly weather conditions can deteriorate once thunderstorms intensify.
The death toll in the floods which struck Indonesia last week has risen to more than 500. According to the government's disaster agency, the floods, which were caused by a rare cyclone that had formed over the Malacca Strait, have hit 3 provinces and impacted some 1.4 million people. Another 500 people remain missing, while thousands more have been injured. Indonesia is among several Asian countries battered by heavy rain and storms in recent days, with Thailand, Malaysia and Sri Lanka all also reporting deaths. Recapping the top story, the Sawa Guinea-Bissau's military rulers have banned protests and strikes. This as they tighten control ahead of a high-level visit by West Africa's ECOWAS bloc, which is seeking to restore constitutional order following last week's coup. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Jolani Tulo Mwepe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Time to stay informed, inspired, and connected to the ideas driving Africa forward. The Upside on Channel Africa, the African Perspective.
Six minutes after 3 p.m. Listen to this. My favorite part is coming up now. Yes, Chuchu.
Wowza.
This is The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, the African Perspective, with me, Tebohole Kuleni and Matseko Mosito. Happy 1st of December. Happy World AIDS Day to you and yours. Thank you so much for choosing us this afternoon. We are streaming live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Don't forget to download our brand new Channel Africa app so you can take us with you wherever you go on your Android or your iOS device. On the app, you can stream the show live, read up on the presenters, get to know us a bit better. You can also check out the lineup and see all the amazing work that Channel Africa is doing behind the scenes. Very important conversation coming up next. In fact, 2 important conversations coming up in this hour.
The first one, we're going to look at the Impilo Collection Foundation. They have opened the landmark Empower Her. And we're going to talk about what that's all about, because obviously this is now action and work that is, of course, made to put an end to gender-based violence, which is a big scourge on the African continent. And we've seen how it has affected many women in South Africa. And that's why all our profile pictures are purple. I saw a lot of women in East Africa and in certain parts of other parts of Europe, asking why is everyone's profile picture in South Africa purple? Well, that's a reason. So we're going to talk about Impilo Collection Foundation as they launch their landmark installation to give voices to survivors and call for collective action against gender-based violence.
Absolutely. And then later on, we have a conversation as South Africa's young scientific trailblazers prepare to showcase their breakthrough research at the World Innovative Science Project Olympiad in Bali, which is in where? Indonesia, where maybe in a couple of, I don't know how effective it is or when it's going to be in effect. But you can now travel to Bali, Matseko Mosito, as a South African without a visa. They recently sealed that deal between South Africa and Indonesia, which is very exciting. Anyway, it's 9 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the final hour of The Upside. Engage with us. Send us your voice note. Is your birthday today? Happy birthday to you. And if it is, and you'd like to send us a voice note for us to sing happy birthday for you, Matseko Mosito will lead that charge. +27 63 406 9126.
Africa at Play with Neto and ETO Chairman.
I've witnessed something fresh, something exciting, and something very inspirational from the president of the country, William Ruto. Whenever athletes are performing to their best level, he always comes on board to reward those athletes, be it football, be it athletics, and not leaving it up to the sport ministry.
The president realizes that sports is a business, and for that reason, he also reduces the number of people who are jobless, because sports now is such a serious business, and for that reason, commercialization of sports is a major way of improving or increasing employment opportunities for the young people, and that is why the president has been very persistent in trying as much as possible to inspire more sports personalities to reduce the baggage of the people who are struggling to get job opportunities in the country among the young people.
Francis FM Motegi, our correspondent from East Africa in Nairobi, Kenya.
Live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
Teboho and Mateko from the upside.
Minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time. Faceless and Serotonin coming through there. The name of the song is Venus. This is The Upside. Your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with me, Teboho Lekuleni, and Matsheko Mosito. That song went viral on social media once upon a time. When you're on TikTok, you just came across that, especially that bass part. Oh, come on now. I think I've used it maybe once on a reel, but it went viral for quite a few weeks.
It's a beautiful song.
And it's such a beautiful song. And we're getting ready now to have a conversation about an exhibition that is taking place at the Constitution Hill by the Impilo Collection Foundation. And before we get there, I know we were having our own off-air conversations about the price of things. A
moment of silence for the price of things.
I capitalized on this Black Friday thing. I bought,
That's nice.
No, I bought this one, the 1.5 automatic washing liquid.
Yeah.
1.5. That usually retails for like 109, 110 rand, 120 something there, depending on which brand.
So much money just to keep clothes clean.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous, right? I got it for 50 something, right? It was 59 rand. It was on special. I got 3 of them. I was like, I'm going to capitalize.
Yes.
Because actually, sometimes Black Friday works in your favor if you're looking for the right thing. Sometimes we just focus on the big purchases, the TV. No, what about the tiny
the
little things?
basics.
The basics, washing powder,
Totally.
liquid. And I hope, did you buy anything Black Friday? Did you capitalize?
I bought nothing. I bought absolutely nothing.
You don't
can I
need
just
anything. Is that why?
No, you know what it is for me. And I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, why did I buy anything? I get really overwhelmed with these sales because there's a bajillion of them, and the stores get really full. And I don't like crowds, and I don't like people breathing, hearing people breathing, and I just don't like. I just don't like it.
Online,
so I got overwhelmed.
But online.
Yeah, but you know me. You see, I'm old school like that. I have to physically go to the store. Actually, somebody of my personality needs to get online pronto. This is ridiculous.
You're not with FNB, right?
No, I'm not with FNB.
That's very good because FNB clients were struggling on Black Friday on Friday
to buy things.
Yeah, because the app or online, people were struggling just to, do anything. The system appeared to have been online, or I don't know what was happening there. But if you're an FNB client on Friday, it was a horrible day because you couldn't transact. And I think the system was just overwhelmed by everyone buying online, buy. It just couldn't handle it. So it's a good thing that you were not with FNB, then you didn't experience that.
Well, the good thing is there are people, the people in my life got to capitalize on Black Friday on my behalf. Because
tell us more.
It was my birthday on Tuesday.
Yes.
So people got things on sale for me, you see. So I got nice birthday gifts on Black Friday for the Black Friday sale. So I'm really not complaining because my people looked out for me, and I'm so grateful.
All right. It's 16 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. We'll get into conversation with Angela Jung. She is actually on the line. South Africa's fight against gender-based violence has taken on a deeply human and visually arresting form. At Constitution Hill, the Impilo Collection Foundation has opened its landmark exhibition, Empower Her. 8,849 bras for humanity. Each bra symbolizing a woman, a life, and a story affected by violence. What once was a site of silenced voices has now become a living monument or monument of truth, courage, and healing. Survivors, activists, policymakers, and communities are gathering beneath this installation to honor victims, confront the country's crisis, and add their messages to the powerful pledge walls. And this is only the beginning, because in 2026, the exhibition will travel across all 9 provinces under the theme Carriers of Courage, continuing its mission to stand with survivors and inspire collective action. Joining us on the line is Angela Jung, founder of the Impilo Collection Foundation. Angela, thank you so much for your time. Welcome back to The Upside. Take us through the story, or just remind us again of the Empower Her exhibition. Empower Her, 8,849 bras for humanity. What sparked this movement?
Okay, yes, just going back. Thank you so much for having me first. I mean, I wanted to just go back to during COVID time, and I was seeing people were suffering, and I said to myself, what can I do to help those people? And by going out and asking for food, we did a food drive. By calling out on social media, friends and family, I managed to collect 10 tons of food. And who's Angela to give out that food? That actually motivated me to start at Impilo Collection Foundation. Impilo means life in Isisulu. I'm sure some of you know. And we gave out to the GBV shelters and OH Home and Orphanage. And later we received 1 ton of sanitary pads, and we gave out to HIV Home and also some of the girls from disabled children. And one of the girls came up to me and said to me, Auntie Angela, next time when you come, please bring us some bra. And I realized she's not wearing a bra, and perpetrators see that as an invitation of sexual attention. That was actually quite shocking to me. And that year we realized there was 2,700 women die from gender-based violence. Initially, we were only going to collect 2,700 bras. We came back with 6,200 bras. And that year, we also laid out at the Constitutional Hill by the Women's Jail. We gave out to 3,100 women in South Africa. And that year, I climbed to 6,200 meters Island Peak in the Himalayas. And this year, I actually summited Everest, 8,849 meters.
Oh, wow.
So for every meters that I climb, I ask for a donation for a bra. To also giving back to the dignity of the girls, because she didn't come to ask me for money. She didn't ask me for food. She asked me for simple thing, for dignity. So every bra, like you were saying, it's indicate every story of the girl's child or the woman who actually suffer in silence.
Angela, you are a star in the galaxy. How you have been able to champion the story of gender-based violence in South Africa it brings tears to my eyes. Award-winning jeweler, just a motivational speaker, and of course 2025 Mount Everest summiteer, I beg your pardon. She took to Everest to uplift gender-based violence survivors, this year. And now we're looking at her collecting over 8,000 bras, which is a wonderful initiative that she's doing through her foundation. Let's continue to chat after this.
Es-tu préoccupé par quelque chose? Es-tu passionné par les questions qui comptent? As-tu une voix qui mérite d'être entendue? Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 42 et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le Diamant Rouge et Binal Export depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance d'exprimer ton point de vue, de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise ton avis. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
This is The Upside for the best African vibes. Groundbreaking content.
3:22. Welcome back. We're talking about the Impilo Collection Foundation. They've opened their landmark Empower Her over 8,000 bras for humanity exhibition at Constitution Hill, offering a powerful response to South Africa's ongoing gender-based violence crisis. Angela Jung is joining us in her capacity as the founder of the Impilo Collection Foundation, and we're talking about the work. This is just one of the layers of the work that she's done to help spread the message and give a voice to the scourge of gender-based violence in the country of South Africa. Angela, thank you for staying on the line. Let's talk about the significance of that number. 8,849 bras. Why is this number significant?
It's because I was actually climbed to the top of Everest, 8,849 meters. Every meters that I asked for, a donation of a bra. And like I say, it is really a significant of dignity and restore. And where is our constitution says, it was in one of the constitution phrase we had in the section 12(1)(c). It says everyone have the right to be free from all forms of violence. So if everyone have the right to be free, that means everyone have the responsibility to protect it as well. So where Constitution Hill is, we rewrite the justice and also dignity restore. And that was the reason we were at the Constitutional Hill to do these installations. And it looks like a mountain of bras that we had at the Constitutional Hill. And it's going to be ongoing until the 16 days of activism, until the 10th of December.
Angela, you've also created a pledge wall for visitors to add their voices. What kind of messages or indeed emotions have emerged from the public since you have released or opened up that pledge wall?
It's actually quite interesting to see people were really taking it seriously, because each person have their responsibility. So if one person pledged to say, yes, I will make a difference, I will give the voice for the women who are suffering. And the next person, it's just ongoing, and seeing people from civil society come up and says, let's make a difference.
Absolutely. Speaking of making a difference, Angela, you are going to be moving this exhibition across the country. Let's talk about that, because after Johannesburg, the exhibition is going to be traveling to other provinces for this upcoming year, 2026. What is the goal for the national tour or roadshow, as it were?
Yeah, so most people will ask me, what's next after climbing Everest? But I think this is next. This is our next mountain. So we almost got to 9,000 bras. So each province will actually receive 1,000 bras. And we're going to go into very deep end of the provinces to see people are needing those bras. Like I said, we actually need a lot of help. We need people to come and to pack and label and make sure the sizes are right to get to the different provinces. And yes, we have the bra, we have the daughters, we have the commitment. We really need people to come in with transportation, delivery, and logistic support, even storage and also security. People would really wanted to come in and step forward as an individual to come and help with this project.
And Angela, how can people reach out to you to offer that assistance?
Yes, please, we on our website, you can register yourself as a social warrior. It's on www.impilo, IMPILO, foundation.org, O-R-G-O.
And beyond, Angela, the awareness campaign that we are currently running through the Impilo Foundation, what role can an ordinary South African play in creating safer communities and supporting survivors beyond these awareness?
And it's interesting, we actually have a panel discussions, and at the end of the panel discussion, we actually had a conclusions of we really not giving enough space for the boy child to actually to come and voice, what is that they are facing as well. So also LGBTQ community, they're coming forward at the panel discussions and speak up. They say they don't have a space to speak up. And I think we actually create the space, the safe space for them to talk about their suffer.
Angela, I think this is just such a wonderful initiative. And for me, what's really significant is the fact that you've not only started the conversation, but you are, helping us to see what are we doing, to assist not only the Impilo Collection Foundation, but in our own small circles. How are we speaking about gender-based violence, not just as one gender, but men and women? What conversation are we having? Where can we help? What can we do? Do we need bras? Do we need financing? What do we need? Do we need to just get men into therapy? I mean, all kinds of things need to happen. So thank you for starting this initiative. We are definitely very happy to be behind you as our self-appointed ambassadors of the Impilo Collection Foundation and the work that you are doing. All the best, and all the best for what you're going to be embarking on in 2026 as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Angela Jung, founder of the Impilo Collection Foundation, and we're talking about her opening the landmark Empower Her 8,849 bras for humanity exhibition. It's happening at the Constitution Hill here in Johannesburg. We know the Constitution Hill to hold a lot of profound political history. names like Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who would be very excited to know that the space of Constitution Hill, which used to be a prison, where she was arrested with other feminine political prisoners back in the day, that it's now being used as a place to converse, as a place to highlight issues, as a place for African Renaissance, book launches. Amazing things are happening at Constitution Hill. So it really is so wonderful to be behind the Impilo Collection Foundation and the work that they are doing. It is 3:30. Let's find out what's happening in sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Let's start off with powerlifting. Team Nigeria emerged overall winner in the para powerlifting game at the ongoing first West Africa Para Games, securing 10 out of the 15 medals contested in the category. The powerlifting game took place at the Alake Sports Center, Ijeja, in Abu Kuta. According to the results released by the Secretary General of the Nigeria Para Powerlifting Federation, Olabisi Afolabi Oluwamesi, Nigeria secured 4 gold, 4 silver and 2 bronze medals. Cote d'Ivoire followed with 1 gold, while Ghana won 1 silver and 2 bronze medals. Benin Republic finished with a bronze medal. A breakdown of Nigeria's gold medal haul shows that Ibrahim Dawuda claimed gold in the men's 59 kilogram category, while Kayode Blessing won the men's 65 kg event. In the women's events, Esther Oyema clinched gold in the lightweight category and Mark Onyinyechi won gold in the heavyweight division. The result also showed that Cote d'Ivoire's Ado Adohevi secured gold in the men's heavyweight category. On to football news, Bafana head coach Hugo Broos has announced his highly anticipated final 25-man squad for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations. Bafana go into the tournament with a lot of excitement and large expectations after finishing third at the previous tournament. Bafana have been drawn in Group B and opened their AFCON against Angola on the 22nd of December. They then face Egypt on the 26th of December before ending the group stages against neighbor Zimbabwe on the 29th of December. Broos stuck to his core of the team but also made 1 or 2 surprise inclusions in his final squad. There was no space for Themba Zwane, while Broos selected young stars Chandra Campbell and Tylen Smith. Mduduzi Shabalala, Igram Reynolds and Thabo Moloisane were selected as Broos' 3 standby players who would come in if any of the selected 25 players would pick up an injury. And in Sudan, the Sudanese national football team has qualified for the Arab Cup, set to be held in Qatar from the 1st to the 18th of December. This after defeating Lebanon at Al Gharafa Stadium in Doha in the tournament's qualifying playoff. The Sudanese team overcame a challenging situation during the match after their striker, John Manu, was sent off in the 22nd minute of the first half. Lebanon initially took advantage of numerical superiority and scored the opening goal. But this did not deter Sudan, which rallied to equalize in the same half through defender Mustafa Kashom. Sudan will compete in the Arab Cup in Qatar in Group D alongside defending champion Algeria, Iraq and Bahrain. On to motor racing. The Formula One Drivers' World Championship is heading for a dramatic showdown in the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi next week, with 3 drivers in contention to win the title. Britain's Lando Norris in a McLaren leads the standings and is closely followed by defending champion Dutch driver Max Verstappen in a Red Bull and Norris's teammate Australia's Oscar Piastri in third. McLaren's mistakes have allowed Verstappen back into contention. The Papaya team made another crucial error in Qatar when all other cars made a pit stop on lap 7 under a safety car. This handed victory to Verstappen, as both Norris and Piastri had to do an extra stop later in the race. McLaren CEO Zak Brown admitted the team made another mistake.
We made the wrong decision. Feel terrible for Oscar and Lando. Oscar was absolutely impeccable all weekend, so we let them down. You know, you win and lose as a team, but definitely not a great moment.
McLaren team principal Andrea Stella says it's definitely not the racing cars that are choking.
We have a fast car, we have 2 great drivers, we need to use all the information, everything that we learn from all we do to make sure that we execute perfect race weekends. I think we have all the ingredients to be successful. It's still in our hands. but it requires to do a better job than what we have done in the last 2 races.
For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. This is Channel Africa Sport with me, Figile Lungwati.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Conversations are happening, and Channel Africa is at the heart of them. We tell the African story with clarity, pride, and purpose, reaching audiences that matter to your brand. Partner with us and connect your business with listeners across borders in multiple languages and markets. For partnership opportunities, sponsorship, or sales, email us at partnership@channelafrica.co.za. Channel Africa, the African perspective. The Upside. On The Upside, your voice matters.
35 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the final business news this afternoon on The Upside with Mr. Golden Voice himself, Thabiso Lehuku.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thanks, Tebogo, and good afternoon. The British government has decided to end UK Export Finance's support for the Total Energies-led Mozambique liquefied natural gas project. Britain had promised financial support of $1.15 billion for the $20 billion project via UKEF in 2020. The development was scheduled to make the African nation a major LNG exporter to Europe and Asia, but it was halted in 2021 due to an Islamist insurgency in the region. South Africa's power utility Eskom has reported a profit of $1.4 billion for the first 6 months ended September 2025. The improvement in the power utility's financial and operational performance has been attributed to the successful implementation of the turnaround strategy, as well as decisive and effective leadership. Eskom's interim financial result coincides with the end of the board's term on the 30th of this month. Eskom spokesperson Daphne Mokoena details some of the key milestones achieved by the board since its appointment in 2022.
Under the board's oversight, Eskom delivered 96% electricity supply reliably in 2024-2025, improving to 98% year-to-date, a dramatic recovery from the low 9% in 2022-2023. The Generation Recovery Plan, approved by the board and implemented in March 2023, drove sustained operational improvements through focused maintenance at 6 priority stations and stretched EAF targets across the fleet.
Pipeline operator Targa Resources says it will buy stakeholder Midstream in a $1.25 billion all-cash deal, expanding its processing capacity in the key Permian Basin. Deal-making in the midstream sector has been picking up pace as some companies look cut costs or add scale and gain access to attractive oil and gas producing regions, as well as export facilities on the U.S. Gulf Coast. Targa expects its stakeholders to generate adjusted free cash flow of about $200 million annually. Manufacturing was weak in Europe and Asia's biggest economies in November. This has subdued domestic demand and tariff uncertainties weighed. The Eurozone, China and Japan all saw manufacturing activity contract last month, although there were bright spots for Britain and economies in Southeast Asia, which saw growth. Exports from Argentina's agricultural sector totaled $759.7 million in November, a 32% decrease from the previous month. November's exports fell 62% when compared to data that Chiara CEC registered for the same month a year earlier. This was when the sector brought in a total of $1.99 billion. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 447. In Botswana, it's at 14 pula 14. Kenya 128 shillings 73, and Zambia 22 kwacha 86. The BRICS countries in Brazil, the dollar there will cost you 5 real 33. Russia 77 rubles 43. India 89 rupees 34. China 7 yuan 6, and in South Africa the dollar will cost you 17 rand 10 cents. $1 is trading at 75 pence to the British pound and 86 to the euro. Gold $4,250 and platinum $1,687 per ounce. Brent crude oil is at $63.48 a barrel. For any business stories you would like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business in Johannesburg, I'm Thabiso Lohoko.
Business news on Channel Africa.
The African perspective. We take no sides, none whatsoever.
We are the upside.
It's now 40 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time. This is The Upside, your gateway to the good life on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with me, Tebohole Kuleni, and Matseko Mosito. We're coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Join us live, where we are streaming on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Let's celebrate some brilliant young minds, because 4 brilliant young South African scientists are about to take their award-winning projects all the way to Bali for the World Innovative Science Project Olympiad this December. After each earning gold at the Eskom Expo International Science Fair, these learners are now stepping onto a global stage with research ranging from digital security and regenerative medicine to assistive technology and sustainable agriculture. Their journey is a powerful reminder of what early support, curiosity, and opportunity can unlock in young minds. Under the guidance of delegation leader Jane Wasonga, they will join peers from across the world to showcase practical, thoughtful science, the kind that solves real problems and inspires future innovation. One of those young innovators is Ishmael Hassan, who will present his project titled Design and Evaluation of Walkman, a wearable assistive device for enhanced navigation in individuals with visual impairment. Ishmael, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to The Upside. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic having you. Congratulations on this, Ishmael. How does it feel to be representing South Africa on a global stage?
It's surreal because as a kid, everyone dreams of getting to kind of represent the country. So it's quite cool.
I love it.
That is very cool. Inspiration behind your work, Ishmael, talk to us about what inspired you to develop Walkman, and how did you, I think most importantly, how did you actually identify that there's a need for a wearable navigation device of this nature?
So like any other teen, I love social media. I was sitting doom scrolling the one day, and I came across this social experiment where there was this guy who was pretending to be visually impaired and would drop a bunch of fancy cell phones and computers on the floor. And he wanted to see if people would actually help him or steal from him. So I thought, what if I could design an electronic system that does the same job as the cane or guide dog, but helps visually impaired people be a bit less noticeable so they aren't susceptible to being robbed like this guy, or being stigmatized and bullied by their peers or just the general population.
That is such a brilliant idea, Ishmael. What grade are you in, and how old are you, Ishmael?
I am currently in grade 11 at Greenside High School, and I am 17 years old.
What a brilliant idea and innovation at that age. Talk to us about how the device actually works. And is this a wearable, as in, is it sunglasses? Does it go in the ears? Tell us more about it.
So the device is not actually sunglasses or a cane, because we don't want to emphasize the disability with the glasses. We want to focus on the enhanced strengths, such as the visually impaired person's hearing, because naturally when you can't see, you have to get more attuned with your other senses.
Yes.
So how the system works is there is a sensor that sends out an ultrasonic wave. This ultrasonic wave then hits objects that are in front of the visually impaired person, and then it comes back to the system, and the system interprets it, and then relays a sound through an earpiece, just like any other earphone you would listen to your music to the visually impaired person, to alert them when there is a danger present, so that they can either move out of the way or change their path of direction.
It's 3:45 p.m. in Central African time. We're talking to a young man who has really just taken things to the next level with the creation of Walkman, a wearable assistance or assistive device, rather, for enhanced navigation in individuals with visual impairment. His name is Ishmael Hassan, and we're talking to him in his capacity as the creator of this particular wonderful gadget. Ishmael, let's talk about just some of the challenges that you came across in you creating this, because I would imagine from a technical perspective there must have been some challenges in developing the device.
Definitely. In the development of the device, I had to learn many new skills, such as coding and 3D printing. But I'm also not immune to challenges we face every day as human beings, such as procrastination and motivation. So that was also an ongoing battle I faced, where I had to make the decision to be involved and go through that whole learning process.
Ishmael, you'll be going to Bali very soon for the World Innovative Science Project Olympiad. What are you most looking forward to? Have you ever been to Bali before? I know I'm just reaching now, but I'm asking because young teenage travelers has become a thing now. Teenagers are traveling all around the world. Maybe Ishmael is one of them. Is this your first time going to Bali, and what are you most looking forward to at this Olympiad?
Yes, it is my first time going to Bali. And no, I'm not one of those teen traveler extraordinaires. I think I'm most looking forward to the opportunity to see the other young minds that are out there and what they're putting out in the world, so that I can learn from them and maybe collaborate over our work, learn from each other, network a bit, and also getting to see the sites, learn about a new culture, because that's always valuable.
I love that. I just love the way you think. Ishmael Hassan joining us. He is the creator of Walkman. Let's take a break. When we return, Tami Ngubeni standing by to throw forward to what's coming up on Africa in Business.
This World AIDS Day will rise above disruption, transforming the AIDS response for every African community on Channel Africa. Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The United States was very vocal at the beginning of South Africa's G20 presidency, and this is largely due to strained relations with South Africa at the time, that they were not really keen on participating. Where do they stand right now?
The US is planning to take over the presidency of the G20 next year, and our understanding from them is that they intend to continue to do so, and therefore it is quite difficult then to be in a situation where you are not attending deputies' meetings or discussions during our presidency and then to take over the presidency next year. From a finance track perspective, there has been engagement. We've been working on a communique last week and this week here in Zimbabwe. What's important about that is that it's a consensus document. And so all the members in the room have to agree to the language that is used there. And our US colleagues have been part of those discussions and negotiations.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective. If it's news and current affairs, leading opinions,
and thought leaders that get your groove. This is your home, The Upside.
It's 11 minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time. We'll continue our conversation with Ishmael Hassan, who is presenting his project. It's titled Design and Evaluation of Walkman, a wearable assistive device for enhanced navigation in individuals with visual impairment. And he will be presenting this at the World Innovative Science Project Olympiad this December in Bali. But before we continue that conversation, let's welcome to studio the Queen of Africa in business, Tami Ngubeni. How are you doing?
I am awesome. Thank you. Really interesting conversation you're having with Ishmael.
Brilliant mind. 17 years old in grade 11. What a mind.
Absolutely amazing. Starting early, I see. Here's what we've got in store for you this afternoon on Africa in Business. A very good afternoon to you all joining us from wherever in the world that you may be. About 2 weeks ago, the G20 Leaders Summit adopted a new global critical minerals framework. We'll be taking a look at this framework. It focuses on protecting supply chains from disruption, increasing exploration in developing countries, etc. So we'll break this down into greater detail. There's also the summit that's going to be taking place, and we'll be taking a look at that. And there are a number of countries that are actually exporting crude oil to the United States on the continent. There's Angola, there's Libya, and Nigeria has officially topped the chart as the leading exporter of crude oil on the African continent to to the United States. So we'll be taking a look at that, over $2.5 billion worth. And that's in a 9-month period, from January to August.
We sometimes forget how big a economy the USA is.
Certainly. So 55% of the African crude oil going from Nigeria to the United States. So we'll break that down a bit more.
Africa in Business coming up next with the Queen of Africa in Business, that is Tami Ngubeni. It's 9 minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time. A quick breather. When we get back, we continue our conversation or wrap up our conversation with the trailblazer Ishmael Hassan.
Conversations are happening, and Channel Africa is at the heart of them. We tell the African story with clarity, pride, and purpose, reaching audiences that matter to your brand. Partner with us and connect your business with listeners across borders in multiple languages and markets. For partnership opportunities, sponsorship, or sales, email us at partnership@channelafrica.co.za. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Whatever you want to hear about today's talk, you can get it on The Upside.
9 minutes to go till it's 4 p.m. We still have our superstar on the line. His name is Ishmael Hassan, and he is the creator of Walkman, a wearable assistive device for enhanced navigation in individuals with visual impairment. Such a wonderful and novel idea. And of course, we are talking to him because he's going to be making his way to Bali to participate in the World Innovative Science Project Olympiad that's taking place in Indonesia this December. Ishmael, let's talk about because it sounds to me like you've really thought of everything. So in terms of it being affordable and user-friendly, where are you on that scope?
That is a wonderful question. When it comes to affordability, that's what makes my product unique. Because if you look at current visual assistive devices on the market, they come in an excess of 10,000 Rand, which is ridiculous. That's just way too expensive.
Yeah.
People can't afford that. But my product is able to be developed for as little as 400 Rands. And if you compare 400 to 10,000, 400 is a much smaller number.
Oh, we can't wait to have this on the market and produced on a large scale so that those who need it most can have access to it. Ishmael, what's the big dream for you? Outside, beyond high school, what do you want to become?
I think that I don't ever want to define myself by one career. Not an engineer, not a scientist, not a doctor. I want to make a difference, and that will involve lots of studying, becoming an interdisciplinary scholar, because you need to look at everything from a cubist point of view. You need to have the mind of a scientist, the mind of a psychologist, the mind of an engineer, all working on one. And if I can achieve that, then I can truly make a difference in the world.
I stop it.
Spoken like a true star seed. Listen, that is exactly where the world should be going. You're definitely an inventor, an innovator, and a transformer, without a doubt. I think this is a start of many good things. Any hopes and dreams? I mean, obviously, post this. I mean, we're celebrating the fact that you're going to be participating in a very important Olympiad in Bali. But just your hope and dream for, because this is also a very important project that you're embarking on to assist visually impaired people. So what are your hopes for how this product is going to move in the world?
Well, of course, I hope that it's able to benefit visually impaired people and improve their quality of life. But also, I hope that through me competing on the world stage with this project, I'm able to show young South Africans that you don't need to have the fanciest equipment or know everything about technology to invent something, to innovate something that could be positive to you, even just your community around you, let alone a whole country or the world. So I think that's just what I want to get out of it.
Ishmael, I know that you said earlier that you were a teen like any other. You were on social media scrolling and finding inspiration. Where can we find you on social media to keep up with all the amazing work and innovations that you are bringing to the table?
So you can find me on Instagram. My handle is @miles.hassan. So Miles a measurement and Hassan my surname with a dot in between. That's where you'll find me, where you can keep up with all of the inventions, all of my little adventures and side quests that I go on, my journey through sports, and just learn a bit more about me.
Okay. All the best, Ishmael. I think you are on the right track, and I have no doubt that you're going to come back and we're going to have another conversation about what you've learned. And you used a big operative word, collaboration, which is going to be so significant in the work that you're doing. All the best, and thank you so much for the chat.
Thank you to you for having me on.
Thank you. He's now our friend. He's a friend of the show. Ishmael Hassan, representing South Africa in Bali very, very soon for this wonderful upcoming World Innovative Science Project Olympiad that's taking place this December.
Bozano, yeah, bizanga zoko zana boza ya go na 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 na, bona za 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 za. Disponible pour aider ta woman, et bien que yo zali kulma. Chérie zala no kyo siliza bapose, so tungiza moli mona ngaki mabangwa. Chérie zala no kyo siliza bapose, so tungiza moli mona ngaki mabangwa. Bozano, yeah, bizanga zoko zana boza ya go na 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 na, bona za 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 za. Disponible pour aider ta woman, et bien que yo zali kulma. Chérie zala no kyo siliza babose, so tungiza moli mona ngaki mabangwa.
Music by Zara Williams with Posa featuring C4 Pedro on this one, and that is the closing music for the show. dear Upsider. It was wonderful to start a brand new month with you. We're both back here as the first citizens of the Upside, and we'll be back again with you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Goodbye. Take care. Tomorrow, same time, same place. African Business coming up next with Tami Ngubeni. Bye-bye.
For what I'm about to do with you, you're not ready. Una cosa, dime cuándo vamos a vivir la vida loca. Una cosa, dime cuándo vamos a vivir la vida loca. Naringi,